Christmas story started from the book of Genesis, from the beginning, when God recreated the earth. He decided to put someone who would rule over the earth in his stead, someone who would govern the earth in his name, on his behalf. And that was how Project Man came. God created Adam and Eve, the first man and woman, and he commanded them to be fruitful, to multiply, to have dominion over the earth, the birds of the air, the fishes of the sea, the crawling and animals on the earth. Every part of the earth was under their government. They were to rule over, they were to have dominion. And then he put them in a garden of the Lord. I don't think that garden is in the earth, is anywhere in this earth. But it was the garden of the Lord where there were so many trees for them to, attend to. The tree of life, where they were going to get life and live forever like God, where they were going to have become immortal. That tree was there. There were a tree of wisdom. There were so many trees. We were talking about the parts of the Lord that they can eat from. But there was another one that they were told not to eat from yet. It's not like they were not going to eat from it, but it wasn't yet time for them to. The tree of good and evil. The tree of reason, where they begin to reason what is good and what was evil. It was not yet time, so they were commanded not to partake of reason. They could partake of life, the life of God. They could partake of wisdom. They could partake of revelation. There were so many, but this particular supposedly called tree, it was Moses who wrote this book based on the vision he saw. And everyone vision or dream is given to a man based on what he could relate with. So it may not necessarily be trees, but according to what Moses could relate with, they were referred to as trees. So they were supposed to not partake in reasoning anything by themselves, knowing what was doing difference between good and evil. They were just supposed to do and be led by God. Because he came every day. The Bible says he comes in the cool of the day to fellowship with them. He was having fellowship with them, and they were managing and leading a life that was based on his instructions. They were still new. They had not been given the authority to begin to know and to reason what was good and what was not. So they were told not to partake of that. Now the Bible talked about the old serpent, the devil. He was described as one who had been an angel, who had been a ministering spirit, one of those large, huge cherubims. But he was thrown out because sin and greed was found in his heart. He was dissatisfied with the position that his creator put him. He wanted to become like the creator himself, and the principles of heaven must hold. So he was thrown down. And then he came and beguiled the woman. He got them to begin to live according to that power of reason, away from God, away from his instruction, to begin to reason by themselves. They obeyed, and the Bible said, to whom you give your members to obey, his servant you become. So what happens? If a king, a king is about to die and he writes his will, he has a very, very close servant who has served him all his life, and he has only one son. Then I'm just giving you a scenario. Now, if this king writes his will and says everything he has, all that he has, his son is only permitted to choose one and every other thing should be given to that his servant. So everything he has, the kingdom, his wealth, his properties, his net worth, his assets, all that he has, the son can only pick one, and the others, and every other thing should be given to the servant. What do you think the son will have? Would choose? If the son is wise, what do you think he will choose? Will he choose the kingdom? Then all his father's wealth and affluence and properties will be given to the servant. Besides to choose his father's wealth and the kingdom and everything will be given to the servant. So the son, by wisdom, will choose the servant. The servant belonged to the father, so every other thing was given to the servant, and so everything that belonged to the servant was also under him. This was exactly what the devil did. He got Adam to bow to him, to become his servant, by choosing to follow him, and as a result, all that was given to Adam, the godship of the world, the godship of the earth, everything became Satan's own. And Satan began to rule like a tyrannic ruler over mankind. He ruled and reigned over mankind, and man became a slave and began to suffer under affliction. He was begging to be afflicted. Women will give birth to twins, and on their own they will carry their own twin baby on their head and go and sacrifice it to one goddess or one's god or the other. People will, do one little thing, and the next thing they are killing their own father, killing their own mother, just to satisfy the godship of Satan. It was all slavery for mankind, tyrannic ruler. And man, even on top of that, man was afflicted with poverty, with sickness. He had to beg to be alive. Even the life that he would live was a life of sickness, a life of affliction, a life of torment. It was beyond the dominion. This was the person that God gave dominion over the earth. Now he became a slave. He was dominated over even the animals which Adam called into being by the word of his mouth. Could no longer have respect for man. If a lion sees any human being today, it is the human being that will run for his life if he could. Because a lion will see him as meat. But it was not supposed to be so. Lion was supposed to be serving us. We are supposed to have dominion over nature, over the earth, over everything. But when we became the servant, that accident of handing over the godship of this world to the devil became the accident that turned man into slavery. Everything was turned upside down. People have to struggle in order to have a good life. It wasn't supposed to be. You are not supposed to struggle to have a good life. Or you will not do anything. God created you. He created you so that you can enjoy life with him. But you bow to the devil and made him your God. And God could no longer have a say over you because you have become the servant of the devil. The devil has become your God and your father. And in that same place, God made a prophecy, made a promise. He said the seed of the woman. The woman does not have a seed. Women, they carry womb. A womb is an atmosphere condition for any seed to develop and metamorphose into whatever it is that seed is. If it is seed of orange, the womb of the earth is a condition good enough for that seed to develop, metamorphose into an orange plant and begin to grow into an orange tree. So the womb of a woman was a conditioned atmosphere for the seed of a man to develop into a man. So women do not carry seed. It is men that have seed. So God said The seed of a woman shall bruise the head of the serpent. Bruising the head of a serpent is like dethroning a tyrannic ruler. That's what it means in Oriental language. Dethroning a tyrannic ruler. And the Bible says that the serpent, that serpent shall bruise the heels of the seed. That means that supposed seed of the woman is going to be tormented, but he will dethrone that tyrannic ruler. And that was how the Christmas story began. From God began to look for a man from which he will bring his son, who will come into a virgin and become the seed of that woman. And he found Abraham. He came into covenant with Abraham. He promised him the stars. He promised him sons as the stars and as the sons. And someone says the sons are his biological sons and the stars are his spiritual sons. Whatever it was, Abraham passed every test that God put him through, even when he and his wife did not have the capacity to bear. He believed God unto foolishness. He believed and he received. That he was promised many sons, but he only saw himself have a son. No. He had Isaac and he had Ishmael before Isaac, and he even married another woman and had many other. But he only the promised son was one, which was Isaac, and it was through Isaac that the blessing which was carried by revelation, which was received by Abraham into his heart and expressed as revelation to Isaac, which was further expressed to Jacob and Esau. Remember, Esau was the firstborn. He was supposed to be the one who should carry on with the blessing. The blessing is that seed called Christ. It was deposited as a blessing into the heart of the person as words, but it was deposited as a revelation into their hearts. That was why when Isaac began to bless Jacob, thinking it was Esau, it was only words of mouth. When Esau came back to ask for blessing, he said there were no more blessing, that the blessing was finished. No, it was his heart capacity to bear. He only got this blessing as a revelation in his heart, and could only express it by words which should be caught as revelation by the person who hears it and receives it. When it was time to bless another person, he could not. His capacity could only bless one. That's why the Bible told us about Solomon. The Bible says God gave him a heart that is as large as the sand of the seashore. Jacob had a heart that could bless his 12 sons, in spite of his father Isaac, who could only bless one. Jacob, with the same deposit of blessing in his heart, he could open his mouth and express that revelation of blessing that was deposited into his heart to his 12 sons. And they carried it on. Another person was Moses. Moses had the capacity to bless 12 tribes. We deposit 12 tribes. This same blessing, this same revelation of blessing that was in his heart, that was deposited into his heart by the vision he caught from God about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He could transfer the blessing to the 12 tribes of Israel, and they continue to carry it on until the Messiah came. There was a time